Gon' get. You gon' get.
I'm dancing with the fish. Heckled fish on Thursdays. Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane and Mark over at Blue Box 29. Today is February 21st. Today is the final day of week 3, Love Lost and Found. Today's topic is all about the healing. So yesterday we were tested again, our love was tested again, and today we are healing. Whether we are continuing on with that love or continuing on with ourselves. The theme is that love remakes the heart. So as love is being refound in others and ourselves, we are remaking the heart. So our 4 stories come from Greek, Chinese, Irish, and Navajo folklore today. So we will listen to these 4 stories and we'll get right back to you. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Chiron, the Wounded Healer. In Greek myth, healing does not always begin with cure. Sometimes it begins with enduring the wound. Chiron was unlike other centaurs. While most of his kind were depicted as wild and impulsive, Chiron was wise, disciplined, and devoted to learning. He studied medicine, music, astronomy, and prophecy. Heroes were sent to him as students. Achilles, Asclepius, and Jason among them. He was mentor, guide, healer. But Chiron carried a wound he could not heal. During a battle involving Heracles, a poison arrow tipped with the venom of the Hydra struck Chiron by accident. The poison was incurable. It burned without relief. Ordinary beings would have died. Chiron could not. He was immortal. The wound remained. It did not close. It did not fade. It did not grant him the mercy of death. In many myths, suffering defies the victim. But Chiron's story bends differently. He did not retreat into bitterness. He did not abandon the students who came to him seeking guidance. He continued to teach. He continued to heal others. The pain sharpened him. Chiron's wound became the source of his wisdom. Because he knew suffering intimately, he understood the suffering of those he trained. His compassion was not theoretical. It was lived. This is where love reshapes the heart. Not romantic love between partners, but love expressed as devotion to others despite personal agony. Chiron loved his students enough to remain present while wounded. He loved knowledge enough to pass it forward. He loved humanity enough to serve it, even when immortality felt like a curse. Eventually, unable to bear the eternal pain, Chiron made a choice. He offered his immortality to free Prometheus, who had been condemned by Zeus for giving fire to humanity. In relinquishing immortality, Chiron accepted death. Zeus honored the sacrifice by placing him among the stars as the constellation Sagittarius, though some traditions identify him with Centaurus. Healing here does not mean removal of the wound. It means transformation of it. Chiron's pain did not disappear. It became purpose. The Greeks did not idolize suffering, but they recognized its inevitability. In Chiron's myth, the wound becomes teacher. Compassion grows from scar tissue. Insight forms where injury once lived. Love remakes the heart not by erasing harm, but by deepening empathy. Chiron could have resented Hercules. He could have withdrawn from the world. Instead, he continued to nurture heroes who would shape history. His wound became sacred. In modern language, we speak of the wounded healer. The phrase originates from this myth. Those who carry pain often possess unique capacity to guide others through it. Chiron's healing was not self-focused. It radiated outward. The students he mentioned went on to become legend. Achilles learned discipline and skill. Asclepius became god of medicine. Their knowledge flowed from Chiron's endurance. Love here is mentorship, devotion, service. Chiron's final act, trading immortality to relieve Prometheus, reveals that healing sometimes requires relinquishing what seems permanent. His heart, reshaped by pain, chose sacrifice over endless suffering. The myth suggests that wounds do not disqualify one from healing others. They qualify. Love transforms the wounded into guides. Chiron's immortality did not define him. His compassion did. And when he ascended to the stars, the sky itself became testament. Suffering endured with love becomes light for others to follow. Story 2. Guanyin's compassion. In Chinese tradition, healing does not always arrive through medicine. Sometimes it arrives through mercy. Guanyin, whose name means she who hears the cries of the world, is a bodhisattva of compassion in the East Asian Buddhism. Though originally associated with the Indian figure of Avalokiteshvara, Guanyin's story in Chinese lore evolved into something uniquely intimate and tender. She became motherly, gentle, and endlessly patient. But compassion in her legend was not effortless. One popular narrative tells a princess, Miao Shan, believed in Chinese folklore to be an earthly incarnation of Guanyin. She was born into royal comfort, yet from a young age desired spiritual devotion rather than marriage. Her father, the king, demanded obedience. He arranged suitors. He insisted she fulfill her role as daughter and political asset. Miao Shan refused, not with anger, with quiet certainty. Enraged by her disobedience, her father punished her harshly. In some versions, he exiled her to a temple and ordered the monks to give her impossible labor so she would break. In others, he condemned her to death. Yet each cruelty was met with gentleness. When assigned grueling tasks, animals came to help her. When threatened with execution, divine intervention spared her. Eventually, the king fell gravely ill. No physician could cure him. A monk revealed that only a medicine made from the arm and eye of a person without anger could save him. Miao Shan, hearing of her father's suffering, did not hesitate. She offered her own. She sacrificed her arm and eye so the medicine could be prepared. Her father recovered. When he learned the source of his cure, shame overwhelmed him. He had persecuted the very child who saved him. He went to seek her forgiveness. In many tellings, he finds her transformed, either restored miraculously or revealed in her divine form, Guanyin. Her missing limb reappears. Her compassion radiates. She does not condemn him. She does not recount his cruelty. She forgives. Healing here is layered. The father's body is healed by her sacrifice. His heart is healed by her forgiveness. Miao Shan's wound becomes instrument of restoration. The story reframes love not as romance, but as transformative compassion within broken family bonds. Guanyin's mercy is not passive, it is radical. She responds to harm with generosity, not because harm is acceptable, but because love is stronger. In Chinese Buddhist philosophy, compassion is active. It alleviates suffering wherever it appears. Guanyin listens to cries without hierarchy. The cruel father and the abandoned child are equally heard. Love remakes the heart in two directions. The wounded child becomes healer. The oppressor becomes repentant. Forgiveness does not deny injustice. It transcends it. Guanyin's thousand-armed form, depicted in later iconography, symbolizes her limitless ability to teach those in pain. Each hand carries an eye, seeing suffering, responding to it. The origin of the imagery is tied to the same theme. Her heart, once shattered under the weight of human sorrow, and Amitabha, Buddha, restored her with many arms so that she could help more effectively. Even divine compassion required reshaping. Her story reminds listeners that love is not fragile sentiment. It is strength that absorbs injury and returns healing. Miao Shan's sacrifice is not endorsement of abuse. It is demonstration of spiritual maturity beyond resentment. When her father kneels before her, forgiveness becomes mutual transformation. He is remade, she is revealed. The wound becomes wisdom. In Chinese cultural memory, Guanyin is invoked in moments of distress, during childbirth, illness, loss, or emotional turmoil. Her name is spoken in hope that compassion still listens. The myth teaches that love heals not through domination, but through mercy freely given. Miao Shan could have refused her father aid. Instead, she chose restoration. Her love did not erase the pain she endured. It redefined it. And in that redefining, a king became humble and a princess became divine. Story 3. Brigid's Healing Wells. In Irish tradition, healing is not forced. It is invited. Brigid, one of the most beloved figures in Irish spiritual history, stands at the threshold between myth and sanctity. She appears first in pre-Christian Celtic tradition as a goddess of fire, poetry, and healing. Later, she is venerated as Saint Brigid of Kildare, one of Ireland's patron saints. In both forms, her power is restorative. Water and flame belong to her. Across Ireland, sacred wells are dedicated in her name. Pilgrims travel to them seeking healing, not only of body, but of grief, trauma, and sorrow. The wells are quiet places, often ringed with stones and trees where ribbons are tied in prayer. These are not dramatic miracles of instant cure. They are places of transformation. One legend tells of a chieftain who despised Brigid's generosity. He mocked her faith, resented her compassion, and refused aid to the poor. When illness struck his household, he refused her help. Pride sealed his door. But when his own child grew gravely ill, desperation softened him. He sought Brigid at last. She did not remind him of past insults. She did not recount his arrogance. She came. Brigid brought water from her well. She prayed. She tended the child gently. Healing followed. The chieftain wept, not only for relief, but for shame. He had rejected her kindness repeatedly. Brigid's response was simple. Compassion is not withdrawal because it was once refused. Healing here is not transactional. It is unconditional. In Celtic spirituality, wells are portals between worlds, places where Earth's depths rise to meet human need. Water carries memory. It absorbs sorrow. It cleanses without accusation. Brigid's well becomes symbol of love that restores dignity. Another tale tells of Brigid giving away her father's sword to a beggar in need. When her father confronted her in fury, she responded that material possession means little compared to mercy. He softened. Her love reshaped his anger. Brigid's healing is not limited to physical ailments. It addresses hardened hearts. The wells themselves become metaphors. One approach is wounded, one leaves altered, not because pain is denied, but because it has been acknowledged. Pilgrims at Brigid's well often circle them sunwise, saying prayers. They leave small tokens, cloth strips, written intentions, beads, symbols of wounds offered up. The water does not erase experience, it reframes it. In both pagan and Christian interpretations, Brigid stands as mediator between suffering and restoration. Her fire warms, her water cools. Together, they balance. Love remakes the heart through presence. Brigid does not demand confession before compassion. She responds to need first. Forgiveness in her stories flows quietly. The chieftain who once mocked her becomes supporter of her work. The father who raged becomes protector. The sick who despaired become hopeful. Healing transforms not only bodies, but relationships. In Irish tradition, sacred geography matters. Wells, trees, hills are all alive with story. Brigid's wells endure across centuries because the narrative of mercy attached to them endures. Love here is steady. It does not require dramatic sacrifice like Chiron's immortality. It does not require divine manifestation like Guanyin's thousand arms. It requires showing up. Brigid's healing wells invite humility. Those who once rejected compassion return seeking it. Those who once carried resentment leave softened. In many accounts, the miracle is not spectacular cure. It is reconciliation. Families once divided find peace. Communities once hardened rediscover generosity. The wound becomes wisdom not because it vanishes, but because it is met with gentleness. In Irish imagination, healing is communal. One person's restoration strengthens the village. Brigid's love does not ask who deserves mercy. It offers it. And in offering, hearts are remade. Story 4. Sacred Healing Ceremonies. In Dene tradition, healing does not begin by asking what is broken. It begins by restoring harmony. Among the Navajo people, who call themselves the Dene, health is understood as hozo, a state of balance, beauty, and right relationship with the world. Illness is not merely physical malfunction. It is disruption of harmony between body, spirit, community, and land. When harmony is disturbed, ceremony restores it. One of the most sacred healing traditions is the blessing way, Hozo-zi, a ceremonial practice that seeks to realign a person with beauty and balance. It is not emergency medicine. It is restoration of the heart. Stories within Dene tradition speak of changing woman, a central life-giving figure who embodies renewal. From her come the hero twins, who restore order by confronting chaos beings that threaten the world. But even heroes must return to balance. After battles, after grief, after loss, ceremony calls them back into harmony. Healing here is communal. A singer, often called a medicine man or woman, guides the ritual. Sand paintings are created with intricate care, each color and symbol holding sacred meaning. Songs are sung that have been preserved across generations. The patient sits within the design. The community gathers. Chants weave memory into present breath. This is love enacted as collective care. One story tells of a young man returning from war, disoriented, restless, carrying invisible wounds. His family sees that he walks through Hozo. Nightmares follow him. Silence deepens. They do not accuse him of weakness. They prepare ceremony. The sand painting depicts holy beings. Corn pollen is offered. Songs call the winds and mountains as witnesses. The young man sits at the center while the singer chants restoration into his body. The ceremony does not erase what he has seen. It does not deny the violence endured. It returns him to belonging. Healing here is not isolation. It is reconnection. Love remakes the heart by placing it back within relationship. Unlike myths centered on singular heroic sacrifice, Dene healing emphasizes continuity. The earth itself participates. The four sacred mountains, Sisnajani, Sozil, Doka Oslid, and Dibel Nitsa, anchor the world. When harmony is restored, the individual does not stand alone. They stand within landscape. Forgiveness in this context does not look like dramatic confession between individuals. It is forgiveness of self for surviving, forgiveness of body for carrying pain, forgiveness of spirit for faltering. The ceremony teaches that imbalance is not permanent identity. It is temporary disruption. Changing woman herself ages and renews cyclically, embodying transformation. From youth to elder and back again, she demonstrates that wounds do not fix a person in one state forever. In Dene cosmology, beauty is resilience. When the ceremony concludes, the sand painting is often dismantled. The colors are returned to earth. Healing is not possession, it is flow. The young man rises. The nightmares may not vanish immediately, but he walks differently. His family sees it. His breath steadies. Love has remade his heart not through dramatic spectacle, but through communal remembrance of balance. The blessing way does not promise invulnerability. It promises restoration. The wound becomes wisdom when it is integrated into harmony rather than hidden in isolation. In Dene tradition, one says, "May you walk in beauty." This is not poetic flourish. It is healing made verbal. Love transforms wounds into insight by reweaving the individual into community and cosmos. And when harmony is restored, even sorrow fits within the pattern of beauty. Hey everybody, welcome back in. I hope you enjoyed those 4 stories. Again, today is February 21st. We are in the month of sacred bonds, the beloved in the binder. Today is the last day of Love Lost and Found. We looked at 4 stories centered around the healing and how love remakes the heart. Our lesson is that love transforms wounds into wisdom, whether it's love in others or love in ourselves, right? So our daily thread today is that love does not always remove the wound. It teaches us how to carry it wisely. Chiron turns his immortal pain into compassion for others. Guanyin transforms cruelty through mercy that restores both healer and harmed. Brigid wells remind us that presence can soften even hardened hearts. And Dene's ceremony returns the wounded back into harmony rather than isolation. Love remakes the heart by weaving suffering into wisdom instead of silence. So the first one we've seen before, Chiron, he utilized his pain and then his healing to help others grow into who they were becoming. He had to be the one to suffer and bear that suffering so that he could teach all these heroes so they could become who they needed to become.
It's easy to teach somebody when you're in some sort of suffering, some sort of pain. Because if they even try, be like, well, my back hurts or something. Like, my little sore. Are you sore? You know,
But then it's also, he has that compassion.
right?
So
I get it.
So he probably feels that 100%, oh, you're sore. But then thinking back to how did it feel when I first was feeling the pain?
Yeah.
And I realized I wasn't.
Ever gonna not feel it.
Yeah, and I wasn't like unstoppable.
Yeah, it still hurts. Like my ankle hurts every single day, right? Because I haven't. I mean, there has been times where I've like done some energy work on it and it has stopped hurting for a while. But for the most part, it hurts daily, and it's just something that I get used to, and I just don't even think about it, because it's just like everyday pain. But when it's not there, man, it's great.
Well, and also there came a point, because this also humbled Chiron, and we've seen that before. There came a point where, like all good teachers, we've seen him as a good teacher, we must completely step away. We are no longer needed. This idea that everyone's always needed, they're not. And that's the point. They shouldn't always be. And the one person, that really is the one we choose.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. And so it's beautiful too that he utilized that to understand the way other people are feeling because, yeah, you're in pain. Like, I'm the healer.
Yeah.
They can't heal themselves. Like, that's okay. And so the important note is that healing does not erase pain. Love transforms personal suffering into wisdom that serves others. It's just, there's a purpose. That's what this is. There's a purpose to my suffering. I'm the healer. They can't heal this for myself. But the reason why is because I needed to teach others what this is, what compassion is, what endurance is, what willpower is, and how to gain wisdom through things out of our control or things we can't change. So, hand in hand, they're both things we can't control. Guanyin, she who hears the cries of the world. This healing was generational healing, right? She was being belittled by her own father,
Right.
who was demanding her to like get in line, really.
Right.
That idea of stuck in this is the way it is. Why don't you get it? This is just the way it is. And I need you to do this. I need you to be obedient. I need you to be an asset, a piece rather than a person. And when her dad fell ill, made from the arm and eye of a person without anger. So her dad was gonna die.
Right.
And she chose love over anything else, not having to think about it, just another person was in need.
Yeah.
And I was the one that could fix it. Another person was, and I can continue to live without these things. Small price to pay for a life.
Yeah.
Especially when we truly don't know what comes after. So that was really cool that this one was just talking about responding with generosity and how other people treat us. That's their own like thing. How we respond is our control. So the important note for this one is that healing flows from forgiveness. Love transforms cruelty not by denial, but by compassionate action that remakes both giver and receiver. I'm not denying who you were, how you treated me. I'm choosing to do this knowing who you were.
Right.
You know, you don't, that whole idea of, oh, you want to do this even though I did this to you and this, and I know everything you did to me. I was there.
Thank you.
I'm choosing to do this. It doesn't need to be like that.
Yeah.
You know? And that's, she just loving towards other humans is more important than gotcha.
Right.
Because in the end, that's all it is. Well, gotcha. Should have loved me better.
Yeah.
Should have treated me better. And then it's now just the exact reverse. You became what you didn't want.
Fed it your energy.
Okay, so this third one is kind of very similar. The Brigid's Healing Walls in Ireland. Just because you didn't accept help before, you close your doors to healing, to transformation, doesn't mean that it closes its doors to us. Sometimes there are times where I just don't always want to be perfect. I don't want to always be working towards something better.
Yeah.
I just want to sit down and like relax. You know, I want to everything in moderation, including moderation.
Yeah. For
Sometimes I want to indulge.
yeah.
I want to take a day off where, yep, things are going to pile up, but guess what? They were going to anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take today to take a break,
Yeah.
you know? And this one's saying that no matter where you are in life, it'll still be there, you know? These things will still be here. The ability to heal will always be here. We just, whenever we're ready for it, it'll welcome us. And that's what this one really reminded me of, and I liked that. So for the important note for this one is that healing is an act of presence. Love transforms wounds into wisdom by responding with compassion rather than judgment. I think that's a very important aspect too, you know, before moving on to the next story is not only did the Brigid Wells accept people when they finally did need help or when they asked for help. It wasn't a game. It wasn't oh, well, why should I help you now? Oh, well, you're not the same person that I offered to help before. I am, though, you know, and now I'm just ready. So that's an important part too, is that sometimes I really think that people would, and I would, come forward for wanting more help if it didn't feel like I was just gonna be beaten down verbally
Yeah.
when I did ask.
I know there's been times in my life where I was told, it's okay to ask for help or to verbalize things, and exactly just that.
Mhm.
It's like, man, guess I won't do that again, you know?
Right.
And then unfortunately, then we get into this whole thing. That's how we're living our life. And
Or it's held over
that,
you.
yeah,
Oh, like this person didn't need help.
yeah,
Or remember when I had to help you do this? Like we all do need help.
yeah, but it should be just freely given, like, man, I need some help. And you should make time.
Freely given, but also just freely asked for it. Like when we actually need help.
Yes. Not the I don't want to do it because it's kind of inconvenient.
Inconvenience, yeah. But that idea of I'm ready to heal, I'm ready to grow, I'm ready to learn new things. You know, we can learn a lot of stuff on our own, but there are things that we do need the help of others for.
Yeah. Or it's more beneficial to have that second point of view or second, like, hey, do it like try it like this.
And
Just
this
help.
is also the idea of meeting people. And there's always reasons why we meet certain people. And
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
we have no idea. And then we go, wow, this person I knew 10 years ago would be great, would be a great person to reach out to about certain things. And that's cool too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like those people like tonight with the horses they were talking about were in line, it's in vision with what we were talking about. And then I said something about Texas, and then they were like, "Oh my God, we were thinking Texas." And I was like,
I didn't hear about that. That's cool.
yeah. So then we started talking about that, and they're like, "Yeah, maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll end up down there." And I was like, I mean, that'd be cool because they could be. And he's like, he wants to have one of those ranch things in every state, one in every state.
That's
Like,
awesome.
that's would be amazing to help like that. But yeah,
No, that's amazing. I love that.
yeah,
It is a huge thing, and it's something that could help the animals and the veterans and
yeah,
anybody that truly needs therapy. Animal therapy is a great thing. The fourth one, healing with animals, I love that. The fourth one, so you see the Dene, the Navajo, healing, the sacred healing ceremonies. This is, again, the community reconnecting with us because we are seeing your pain and, just speaking from the story and what I would want from the community, I would want it to feel like people are seeing my pain. They're witnessing and acknowledging that what I'm feeling is what I'm feeling. It may not be something they agree with or what they're feeling, but they're acknowledging this is where they're at and they help you reconnect with them. Like, regardless of what you're feeling now, Jane, we're here. We see you. We won't let you like completely fall into the darkness. But when you don't feel like you have anything, like this is where we're at. And that happens with the body too. Like when we have our physical healing, any sort of ceremony like that, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. It's just getting us reconnected back to the bigger picture.
right,
I like too how it says it's it's not a miracle fix. You're going to still walk away with it. You don't just leave it here. It doesn't just stop haunting you. We don't just become perfect overnight
right,
or our best selves overnight. There's work that's put into it, there's choices put into it, but we can walk away differently, like the story says. It's still there, but it's manageable. It's awful, but one day it won't be. And sometimes that's all we can really hold on to is that I don't know what it'll feel like to start feeling better, but I know one day I will. And that's the day that I'm looking forward to. And that's really cool that that's what this gives. And that's another thing community gives you
yeah,
is one day you'll open back up to like happiness and to healing and all of this stuff. And you won't have to wonder anymore. So just know now while you don't feel it, while you can't feel it, it's there.
right. And then just you can even try to think about what that feeling would feel like, and just resignate at that feeling.
Watch others. We're here not to show off in front of you, but to remind you that life continues, that all we can do is be here.
I bet you whatever you're going through, somebody around you has gone through something similar. And if you needed someone to talk to, you could probably talk to someone and they'd be like, "Oh, I had a similar situation."
Or even just those like talk to, hang around, match what you feel. I don't want to do anything, or I want to, I just want to go play pool, or I want to just go for a drive and not talk. And I know exactly who would be the best for whatever situation.
Well, just like tonight. So
That's community.
just like tonight, it was like you were the way you're just explaining that. It's like being in the flow. Just like everything that happened within tonight,
Mhm.
how beneficial everything was and just how good it went. It was because we allowed ourselves to just be in the flow and go with the community and see the people that we don't normally get to see and make positive connection because we chose to go out of that comfort zone of here and doing, this.
Right.
To take that break in that moment for ourselves. So it was amazing.
Right. And knowing that we needed to record, but just still it just felt good to ask you to go. And then you go out and you win.
Yeah.
You a pool tournament champion.
I got lucky.
I didn't.
Brought you home.
The important note for this one is that healing restores harmony rather than erasing pain. So reconnecting with our community is reaching harmony. Our environment, our people, the love we're surrounded with. We may not like everybody, but we can still love everyone that's there. Love remakes the heart by returning it to balance within community, land, and spirit. Like I just said, if one's out of balance, they all are. My dad, used to tell me that you want to be okay being alone and feeling lonely. To be in that loneliness, you want to be okay with yourself there, to be alone. But you don't want to become too okay that you use it as a crutch or you live there in alone, because there's nothing wrong with your independence. There's nothing wrong with wanting to spend time alone, but there are huge, huge things that you miss out on when you don't have connections, when you don't have people, when you don't choose to allow your life to be witnessed, in one way, shape, or form, or to witness someone else's. Because we're here to be disrupted, I think. We're here to be challenged, to be ourselves, figure out what we do like, the things we love, the things that take our breath away. And this one just says, but sometimes we do need to say, hey, I need help figuring out what that looks like. I don't even know what I'm looking for anymore because I'm lost in myself. And this one just says that, you know what, it's okay. And the healing comes from love. Sometimes, almost all the time, we just need love in our healing.
Yeah.
I will heal. I just need you to love me through it, even though it may be ugly for a while. And I may resist the healing and I may want to fall, and I may fall sometimes. But
if you fall into love, that doesn't hurt.
Right.
Because that's what support systems are for. That's why you have community. However big or small it is, you have a community.
Well, yeah, because you can choose. I want to continue to heal on my journey, but I also want to heal watching you heal too.
Yeah, because man, that just made my heart feel good. You just saying that, because that's what it's about. Is to go along with somebody, a group, and experience life to the fullest. Because how amazing is it that we write a book and it takes off, but then our friends also that write a book and their book takes off? That would just be so amazing. Like it just feels good to see one thrive, all thrive.
Right.
One heal, all heal. I truly believe that, because if you start healing yourself, people feel that energy and they want it. And then they'll ask you, they'll be like, what are you doing? Like, man, you seem happier. And I mean, and I'm speaking from experience because people have came to me and said these things. And I'm just like, I am happier.
And I really and I have had people, throughout my life, but having those authentic friends where we don't have to explain ourselves, our quirks or whatever, because they have them too. And it's just like, cool. Like we're seeing it. I don't need to say, oh, just so you know, I struggle with replying. Yeah, I've noticed. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, I've noticed and I still invited you here.
Right.
And that's the thing too, is you don't need to point out the things that you think I might find as a flaw. Yeah. I'm choosing to be here.
Yeah.
I know that that's not your thing. It's just like who we are, and it's nice to be around people that are like, yeah, cool. I can dig it. Like, let's go on this journey together. And it's kind of cool that we really have to reach those people and we really think about those people when we need healing in our most humbling times. And I think I'm such a jackwagon for saying humbling, as truly as a female, I do feel like a jackwagon saying that. Because it is a lot easier, I believe, in my position as a female, to ask for help and healing than what I've seen through males in my life. Friends, my dad, you. I have felt like it was a lot easier for me to verbalize I was healing or I needed help healing. And it was more accepted when I did. Whereas when males say they're healing, it's like, I don't even know what it's just like it's a stigmatism to it, and it's not okay because it shuts other people down, other young boys and men, from wanting to heal or to think that healing, why should there be anything negative about that? To men, why should the masculine be challenged in healing?
I get shocked when another man, like an alpha type man, tells me about their healing or need to. And I'm like, didn't think that would come out of your mouth. But then again, people just kind of word vomit to me as well sometimes. So I don't know that it's words that they would tell to just anybody.
Well, certainly not people that didn't make them feel like healing was safe. But that's the thing too, is that me as a female, but also who I am, I guess who I am, I would share that with a stranger though too. Oh, I'm healing. I don't necessarily
now.
but I don't necessarily think people that, let's say, you notice that they're telling you a lot of stuff, but then they're quiet everywhere else. They're probably not sharing that with strangers. They're probably having to really learn people first and know that it's safe, for a reason. There's always a reason people don't feel comfortable sharing that they're healing or that they want to heal, I think. But with that today, so how has love changed me? That's our question. Our question is, how has love changed me?
Okay.
So that's what we're going to think about today. Is how has love changed me? And we're going to place our hand on our heart. So we're going to place our hand on our heart and acknowledge one way love has reshaped us. So we are going to place our hand on our heart and acknowledge how love has reshaped us. And then we're going to remember that love heals by turning wounds into sources of insight. So we're going to take some time. I think it'd be best to answer the question and then go reassess how it's reshaped us. And could be a whole bunch of different kinds of love. There's so much. There's community love, familial love, partner love, paternal love, all of that kind of stuff. Self-love. Absolutely. I don't think that we need to compare or justify how one love is more important than the other. Because they're all valid. They all hold their importance, They all reshape us. And that's the bigger picture is we have to look at they meant something clearly because love reshapes us. And that's, the beautiful side that's makes it absolutely worth the end of the day, the potential of facing grief. Like love will always be worth the pain and grief at the end. I truly believe that because I don't ever want to think that I would rather not know you than to lose you. No, I'm thankful for every single minute with the people that I have. Was I always like that? No. But now I am. And so I'm thankful that I'm in that place. But I'm also in that place and also really like to be by myself, So it's like, but it is nice, like you said, to try to get back out in the community and reconnect. Like these stories say, sometimes healing is just rechecking yourself, letting loose. And it was cool to go out and to just be around some people and talk, because I've been hearing you saying you wanted to go out. And I know you wanted to do some things without me, potentially, or just kind of, not like in a bad way, but how you were just saying like you want to socialize. And I've been saying I don't. So like, ergo. But I've been trying to listen and do some stuff. So I hope you had a good time winning that fucking bucks on that pool tournament. What?
Dollar bills, y'all. I
Dollar
should have been like those
bills.
goofy kids where they get a couple toys and they're like folding them and they're like,
Well, so I was like, or what they put them on their arm. They'd like lay them out or something weird.
I haven't seen that one. I'm not down without trend.
I'm almost done, and then we will speak about it. Yes, we're going to go get cuddles. It's absolutely past bedtime. But that was it for week 3. We are into the final week of February, starting tomorrow. This is not only like exciting because we're moving into our 3rd month of the year. We started this year on winter, and we're going to end it on winter in December. This is our only season that's split up. Okay, so we begin in darkness and then we end plunging back into that faith.
Yeah.
Fully at the end. But it is our last week of winter next. So we're going to really retouch on what winter means and then hit it with the Earth reawakening.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just spring up as beautiful spring right away. Unfortunately, it's kind of mucky and bleh,
Yeah.
like a little bit of March is, but that's where we really, I don't know, it'll be exciting to see what it all is. I don't want to spoil all of the other topics or anything.
Right.
So we're going to finish winter off with our final plunge of love and then wait. What is that? 9 months. Wait 9 months to see it one final time. And it'll be our closing season for this chapter. Anyways, thanks for joining us today for the healing, February 21st.
Thank you. See you guys.